Hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash day friend, favorite content creator. Did you guys know that the Critical Drinker, yes, that guy, has a gaming channel? I didn't know that. I don't think he even really advertises it. But I found that out today. So guess what we're doing today? Guess what we're doing today? I want to see something. I want to see if his critical thinking, if his analysis is just a grift when it comes to movies, or if he truly is really bad at either reviewing media or analyzing media or talking about it. So I want to watch a video of his, and we're going to watch it together because we like to do things as a family here. And we'll just see. We'll see if the Critical Drinker is actually a good critic who is running a grift on his movies channel, or if he's just a bad critic who just complains about shit all the time with no understanding of the media he's consuming. Let's go. Okay, let's do this.
You know, I'm old enough to remember a crazy, wild time back in the depths of history where you could buy a game, put it in your game's console, and guess what? It would just work.
What?
I mean, like I get the context what you're saying, but nah, there are lots of games that did not work when you put them in. But I understand what he's going for.
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
No 5-hour installs, no queue of hard drive devouring updates, no laundry list of patches just to get.
Wait, hold on. How far back is he going with this? Because this has been a thing since the PS3 era. So, like, you did have to update games and patches and install games with a hard drive. Like, that was a thing since the PlayStation 3 came out, which is not recent.
Thing running, you just put it in and played it. And the best part is
It's a PS2.
as long as you still had the disc and didn't decide to use it as a coffee coaster or a doorstop. It didn't matter if the developer went out of business, or the publisher decided to revoke the rights, or some idiot managed to crash the company's server. None of that made any difference because it was just you in the game, and it was yours to own and use forever. Modern
okay,
is a very
sure.
different beast though,
Okay.
and that's what I really want to talk about today. Like, how many times have you bought a game in recent years, put the disc in, all excited to play it, only to find yourself staring at an install progress bar for the next 3 hours? So you
Again, this has to be stated. This was the experience in the PS3 days. I remember specifically when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4, and you had to like install the game. In fact, that was part of the review embargo. You couldn't talk about how long it took for the game to install and to load. Like that's one of the things since the PS3.
You put the console into rest mode and come back a few hours later to find that the whole thing is ground to a halt because you didn't have enough hard drive space to accommodate the massive bloated monstrosity that you're trying to cram in there. So you have to start deciding which other games get to live or die, like some doctor performing triage after a
Let me put the audio up a bit.
But that is just the beginning. You want to stream the game or play with your friends online, do you? Well, that'll be another 10 hours of patches and updates just to get a barely functional version of the game that can talk to all the other versions floating around.
Well, okay, now I don't understand. I don't understand the argument making here. Like, I would understand the gist of it. Obviously, the title says you own nothing and you're happy when modern game sucks. But he's talking about if you want to play online. What? Wait, what? If you want to play online.
Well, that'll be another 10 hours of patches and updates just to get a barely functional version of the game that can talk to all.
Yeah, what are you talking about? 10 hours of patches to get a barely functioning game? If they're patching the game, it's to make it more function, not barely functional. Although some patches might break other things, of course, right? Because it's a live service game. But like, what is your argument here? Games shouldn't need to be updated. You're playing online. You even said these are a different beast. Like this has nothing to do with the crux of the argument I think you're trying to make.
All the other versions floating around out there. Then there's the random updates that always seem to happen at the least convenient time possible when you finally manage to carve out a couple of hours to game with your
Okay,
buddies.
this is just a nitpick.
Half the group don't have the latest patch containing gimmicky celebrity skins and character models that nobody fucking wants anyway, but for some reason are absolutely mandatory for the game to even
Because people wanted the skins. Otherwise they wouldn't have bought them. or put them in the game. Like, this is a terrible example to use for live service games because they strictly go by, are people buying this or not? If there was no money either being made by them having the celebrity in there or a collaboration happening, they wouldn't do it because these games are all free to play. They live off microtransactions. Like, they wouldn't do that.
Function, and it's going to be at least an hour before they're ready. Then cast your mind forward to the end of this great circle of gaming, when the game itself falls victim to the endless battle for declining hard drive space and has to be deleted to make way for the next piece of bloatware.
So you're talking
Then, perhaps
about
a few
the Stellar Blade?
years later, you get a hankering to play it again, so you put the game in and brace yourself to go through the whole torturous process again. But oh no, while you were away, the developers decided it was no longer cost effective to maintain the servers, so bye-bye online gaming.
Okay, why are you using Stellar Blade as a reference point though? Like, the point of having B-roll footage is to enhance your argument, what you're talking about, or maybe even have like additional things you forgot to put in your original video or script. But you're showing a game that has no reliance on online servers being up or not, like, at all. This is the single player game. This is the worst game you could use for this example.
With your friends. But you can still stream it in single player mode, right?
Wrong.
Nope, because without the servers, you can't download all those vital updates that allow the game to work online in the first place, or just work in general. So
What are you, okay, what are you talking about? Streaming a multiplayer game in single player, it's a multiplayer game. If the servers are down, of course you're not going to be able to play it. What is your argument? Now I'm confused.
what you're stuck with instead is a buggy, unfinished, barely functional piece of shit.
This is a single player game.
Upwards of $80, and
That is Red Dead Redemption 2. You're calling it a buggy piece of shit. Okay, dude. All right, man.
can't do much of anything now except eat up hard drive space. And that's the best.
I'm sorry. None of the games he showed so far, this example, have anything to do with what he's saying. These are all single player games. Okay, sure. Grand Theft Auto has an online component, but Last of Us 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Horizon, I believe that was Forbidden West. Those are all single player games. They're all single player games. It has nothing to do with online connections or patches or anything like that. They're all single player games.
Case scenario. More and more games these days don't even come on discs at all. So even if you do buy a physical...
And also, I'm sorry, are we acting like games back in the what he showed from like the PS2 era weren't buggy, didn't have glitches? Like, are we pretending to live in this universe that wasn't the case?
It's literally just an access key for you to download the game itself from the developer's server. And if that server ever happens to go offline because of technical failures,
You're making the same.
commercial
You're making the
issues,
same argument here.
just straight up going out of
You're
business,
repeating your
guess
argument.
what? You're fucked, and you'll never be able to play that game again. All of this is to say that, well, I kind of fucking hate what gaming's become now. I hate how managing my gaming libraries become more convoluted than filing my tax
What is
returns.
Conquer have to do with any of
I
this?
missed out some vital
Well, so okay. So listen. We all know Critical Drinker is a renowned fucking grifter, right? So he's using Concord here to highlight nothing but to associate his disdain for video games and associating that with a game like Concord, which has been a cultural war target longer than it's been an actual game you could actually play. Concord went away not because the developer company was like, we hate gamers. It's because no one was buying it. Cost too much of the free-to-play game. Well, no, not sure it was a free-to-play. It cost $40. No one purchased it. It didn't do well. Its launch was kind of whatever, and it was just an okay game that didn't justify its existence, so it went away. This should not be in the game. This was not in his gaming library. It's not like he's upset that he can't play this game. Like, this is like, what's the point of using your B footage if you're not going to have anything to do with your argument?
Obscure patch buried 3 menus deep. I hate how buying a new game means embarking on a multi-day emotional roller coaster.
This is
to get
still
fucking work.
this is still Concord.
Everything, even single-player games for some reason, somehow requires an internet connection all the time for no obvious reason. Like it'll. Please tell me the games that are single player that require only online all the time. Like,
actually make a point.
Loneliness without constant reassurance. I hate feeling like every game I own is somehow living on borrowed time, like at any moment
Why-
some asshole developer might decide to pull the plug and shut
What does it have to do with Stellar Blade?
Most of all, I miss the simple pleasure of just putting a game in and playing the fucking thing, and knowing that it's mine forever and I could come back to it 10 years from now if I wanted and still be able to pick up where I left off. As a little side note, that really did happen with Final Fantasy VIII on the PlayStation. I got so stuck on the Adele fight back in 1999 that
I like how this is the only B-roll footage he's used that has actually made any sort of connection to the point he's making. 4 minutes and 17 seconds into a 7-minute video.
I threw a big hissy fit, chucked the game in a drawer, and didn't fire it up again until 2008. Found my old save file on the memory card, and finally battled my way through to the end almost 10 years after buying it. Fuck, I hate that game. Anyway, I digress. It seems like I'm not the only one who feels like gamers are getting a bit of a shitty deal these days, which is why the Stop Killing Games movement has gained so much
Oh,
traction.
wait. What a horrible tie into the Stop Killing Games movement. The first third of your video has nothing to do with this and that argument. See, this is the Stop Killing Games initiative, which I've covered on my channel, right? Is about developers or publishers, most likely, just not doing anything in order to preserve games for people who already purchased it, right? Like delisting games and no longer have access to it, or sunsetting games without giving people like the chance to, do something with the game, right? Not taking reasonable steps to ensure like that people can still have access to the game. But his whole setup to go to here to be like, yeah, people are tired of video games, they're tired of patches, and they're tired of having to have the internet and whatever. Like that's not the actual argument for the Stop Killing Games. I want people to be very clear on that. That is not what the Stop Killing Games is about. He just is making a terrible connection between the two.
Past few weeks, and I'll be honest, I 100% agree with them. Something has to be done to safeguard gamers and their purchases and guarantee some kind of post-life support for older games. And look, I know we're never going to go back to what we had 20 years ago. Games now are orders of magnitude bigger and more complex than they were back in the 90s.
I still don't understand why he's showing Stellar
And it's
Blade.
good that we're still pushing the boundaries of what's technically possible. Although I'd argue that we're kind of reaching the limits of what can be done graphically, but that's another discussion. And yeah, it's nice that developers can fix bugs that might have slipped through playtesting, but holy fuck, we need to reach some kind of compromise with this one because the current model is killing the industry. If I might be so bold on this one.
Okay, I gotta say something, okay, because this is not killing the game industry. It's not. That's not killing the game industry. What's killing the game industry is the shrinkage we're having in the talent in the gaming pool because companies are seeking endless profits. They want to increase their profit margins by $1 billion and take no consideration the fact that like money and resources are finite. And instead of focusing on making tighter games, even smaller games that are telling more interesting, more diverse stories, we're getting a homogenized blockbuster event, right? Everyone wants to have the most realistic, cutting edgiest graphics of all time. They all want to be movies. They want to be this big theatrical thing in game form. And that is crushing companies because if they're not making $1 billion a second, or even if they do make $1 billion, they're still getting axed. People are still losing their jobs. That's what's killing gaming from an industry standpoint, not fucking patches and online games.
And I would suggest 3 major changes to how things are done.
Okay,
One,
let's do it.
Guarantee that every game must be shipped in playable condition. It doesn't have to be.
That's his idea is make sure the games aren't broken on release. Great start.
100% perfect, but it at least has to be playable through from start to finish without a single patch or update. Any company that fails to meet this bare minimum requirement should be subject to heavy fines and possible removal of their publishing license for repeat offenders.
That is so stupid. Because what is your definition of playable from start to finish? You have an objective, operational, defined definition of playable. Like if it drops to like 20 to 30 FPS and it stays at 60 FPS of the game, like is that not playable? Is it frame rate? Is it resolution? Is it like you have to define objectively what playable is, which you can't do in this arena. Like then games wouldn't come out. No game comes out perfect. especially the bigger budget games. Like patches aren't that big of a deal. Like they're really not.
Yes, it'll probably mean longer development cycles, but you know what?
Which is bad.
Absolutely worth it in the long run.
No, it's not. If it's longer developmental cycles, that means it's going to cost more. Budgets are going to go even higher than they are right now, and we're going to have a worse situation. Because if the game cost $30 million to make, but they have to extend it, now it costs $130 million because you have to pay people to do this shit, and it only makes back like $60 million, which would have been way profitable originally, it's going to kill the company. Obviously, yes, there should be a standard people have, which is why you have Q&A and all that stuff too. But to be like, it has to be released at this state, and if not, you should get fined. Fined by whom, first off? What agency, what enforcing body is going to be there back? This game wasn't up to our arbitrary standards, so what? The FCC is going to fine you? Like, what are we doing?
2. A third-party repository of all patches and updates for obsolete games, which can be freely accessed by anyone with a valid copy of said game. Any company which is removing support for their older games or shutting down its servers should be legally required to move all of their support material over to this third-party server and pay a portion of all future sales revenue towards its upkeep. 3.
Whoa. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. If the company says we're not dealing with this shit anymore, fine. Let's have them put the patches that make it playable at a repository. I'm okay with that. But then to say any future sale of that game's revenue has to go to maintaining, that is idiotic. That's like saying I sold my house and the new person who moves in there, yeah, but any money you generate from my old home, you need to give to me. Or conversely, I have to still pay a portion of someone else's rent in a home I do not live in. That's stupid. That's just stupid.
3. An end to always online functionality. Any game should be playable offline, no matter the style or the genre.
Oh, you're just stupid. You're stupid. Any game, no matter the genre or the style, should be playable offline. So if you're playing a strictly multiplayer online game, an MMORPG, you should be able to play an MMO offline. You should have played Fortnite, Warzone offline. But Fortnite used to because it was not a Battle Royale. But like Battle Royale only games, online only games should be available offline. That's your argument. That's how you're going to fix gaming? By making everything cost way more to make? That's stupid.
I don't need my every move and decision being constantly fed back and shared for vaguely defined research purposes. And if I want to play a game on my own in my house with no internet connection, then that is my fucking right. And it should be yours.
Oh my God,
Now,
dude.
I don't pretend to know if any of these ideas can or will be implemented.
Then why say-
Damn, something needs to change in the industry, because just like the bloated and overpriced software that it produces now, it feels like it's collapsing under its own greed, weight, and excess. And well, people have had enough now.
Let's just show Concord again.
Anyway,
Then Stellar Blade randomly.
we've got for today. Go away now.
This is such a bad video. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But like nothing did he say was actionable. This whole video's purpose is I don't even understand. Like things that he's complaining about, I guess you're allowed to complain, but they have no bearing on the actual issues regarding the gaming industry. Like at no point does he briefly talks about the greed, but like this would be the video to get into that, because you're talking about how people don't own anything. Why is that the case? Why don't they own anything? Or if you want to talk about your grievance with update patches, okay, why are updates bad? He said it was inconvenient. To whom? Like, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, sometimes it sucks when I'm excited to play a game to be patched, but they have to patch it so I can play the game. Like there have been so many occasions where like an online game, people were exploiting it to the point where it was not fun. So they had to patch it so people couldn't do that shit anymore. Would you want them to not do that? Like if there was a patch in the game and maybe it was like a 10 gigabyte patch or a huge patch because of a huge data leak and they were able to fix it, but they have to update the game. You're getting back, ooh, that's bad. Let me play this game that exposes my IP address. Like, no, like this is what the Critical Drinker does all the time. he takes something that could be reasonable, right? Like, yeah, modern gaming does have issues. I don't like the fact that we have licenses instead of owning games like we used to do, right? But instead of going deeper into that, he just goes on tangents about patches. And when I was a kid and I could play Final Fantasy VIII and I can play it again 10 years later. And it's like, what does any of that have to do with the argument you're trying to make? Because your argument you're making isn't, I wish we had physical discs back. Your argument was games were better back then because they weren't glitchy, but now they are and they require patches. And then you start saying how all these games require always online. Again, I don't know what games here you're talking about here. Like, look, which games are always online single player games? Like, I don't know. Like what is she talking about? Because like, I need examples. I'm not saying they don't exist, but which games are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I would have loved for you in this video to have been like, these games like so-and-so, like this, to give us an idea that, oh, this is actually happening. It's a big deal. But he just says shit. Like, there's no backup support to anything he says. He's just saying shit. He can say anything, which he did. Nothing matters because he's not able to give you any sort of concrete information. And then the ending of the video is just, here's my 3 ideas. Something that can happen, something that mostly can't happen, and then just like something that will definitely never happen. Like, no matter the genre or the game, it has to be available offline. That is the dumbest take I've ever heard in regards to this situation. Like, I knew he was a bad critic. I knew he was a bad movie critic, but I had no idea he's just bad at like analyzing anything. Fuck me, dude.